Alright, ending off with this session of Death Stranding. I'll be looking at some information. We got a lot to go through. Just sit tight, take a seat, have some fun. Let's read. We've only seen Homilly's hologram. Dear Sam, mind if I ask? Mind if mind if ask you really? Mind if ask you a personal question? No, that's not just me flubbing. That's what it says. Mind if ask you a personal question? I heard you're a Strand. The president raised you like you were her own, right? Which means you must have grown up with Amelie. What was she like? I've only ever seen her hologram. I mean, I don't get it. Security precautions, I can't risk letting the separatists and terrorists know where she is. But man, what I wouldn't give to really meet her, to see her in the flesh. She seems like such an amazing person, and that's just from the holo message. If you ever do catch up to her, I hope you'll tell me about it. My daughter, her husband's tragic past. Dear Sam, maybe you've already heard, but my daughter turned up here the other day saying she was moving back home. Not long after that, her man came around looking for her. So I decided it was time to come clean and tell them the whole truth about what happened 5 years ago. The truth about how they first met. My daughter's real parents were killed by a gang of junk dealers, a gang to which her own husband used to belong. He was just a boy at the time, though. In fact, he was the one who saved her life. Somehow he convinced the others to leave her be. I still remember the way he was holding her hand when I found him, how scared she was, hood pulled over her face, unable to find the words. I tell you, the boy chose to strike out on his own after that and set himself up as a prepper, but no, I won't deny it. I didn't want to take care of both of them. So I set him on his way, and it was pure chance that they met again and fell in love. Fate, maybe, though I cursed it that day. Let me tell you, they didn't remember each other. You see, trauma, I suppose, so it was my burden alone to bear. Even if I want to keep them apart, I wouldn't dare remind them of all that. But after that, but after everything had happened, but after everything that had happened, I realized it had to be done. We both needed to remember the whole of it. That he'd saved her life, sure, but that it wouldn't need saving if it wasn't for his gain. Knowing the truth, could they see their way to reconciliation? Well, after some talking and thinking, they told me that if you love someone, nothing else matters. Can you believe that? So I told them to give it another go. It wouldn't be easy, and frankly, it shouldn't be. But I sincerely believe they have what it takes. If they want to get married, I'll support their decision. That's cute. I'm glad she was honest about it. The wedding's back on. Dear Sam, I hope you're doing all right. So, your mother told us what happened 5 years ago. It's weird, but how we don't have any memory of it. Though I'm glad for it. Some things are better forgotten, I think. His gang, they killed my parents. There's no denying that. But there's also no denying that he saved me. He took me by the hand and led me to safety. I wish I could remember that much at least, even if it meant having to remember some of the rest. He was there for me 5 years ago, and ever since my mother's been there for me, too. It's because of them that and their love that I survived. I became who I am today. I owe them everything. Well, maybe not everything. I shouldn't forget how you've helped me, Sam. I can't thank you enough. Anyway, I'm going back to our own shelter now. No more running away from me. I've got a wedding to plan after all. Dear Frank. Bonafide hero shit. Well, you actually pulled it off. Made it all the way out the west and came back to tell the tale. I got to admit, I was worried you wouldn't see it through. Seemed like a tall order for anyone after all. It hasn't been easy for the people you left behind, but I told myself I'd try not to blame you. Uh, that wouldn't be fair. I'm sorry I ever doubted you. You're a real hero, Sam. And that's plenty of us, and there's plenty of us out here We'll never forget that. Thanks. I'm going back to get her. Hey Sam, still your own man? Still out there walking the lonely road? I've been a little lonely myself, to tell the truth. I know I did nothing but complain when she was here, but now she's not. I can't hardly think straight. Still, compared to how far Amelie is from you, she's just around the corner. That's why I'm going to suck it up, say sorry, and beg her to come take me back. Wish me luck, pal. I'm gonna need it. Good job. Good job owning up to your own mistakes and faults. The Chronicles of Aaron, Chapter 5, Journey's End. Hey Sam, you ever dropped by the safe house I built for you? Tried to report back to the director once I finally had the things up and running, but I never heard anything back. No heart of gold, after all. No manners, neither. And I could have cried after all the trouble I went to, and believe you and me, maybe I did just a little. Not so much as a nice job. That's the least a guy can expect after a trip like that, don't you think? But right, so when I was about to give up on life, an angel appeared to save me. That's right, Fragile. The sweet little ray of sunshine whisked me right back here. In an instant, she seemed awful tired, though. Had me a little worried. There's something in the air here in Mount Knot City, too. Something funky. Plus, Lockney's up, run off somewhere. But you're okay, right, Sam? I damn well hope so. We're here for you, and we're praying that you make it. Keep fighting the good fight. Is that it? That's it. Right. I believe I already did that. Enter manual, project sign, suppose thread. Yep. Let's look at the music first, because we're gonna go be in the long haul for all the tips and tricks and interviews. Not around. Low roar. Please don't stop. Low roar. Tonight, tonight, tonight. Low roar. Please don't stop. Chapter 2. And I'll keep coming. Almost Nothing featuring OKKF. Baby's theme. Tips. Spinning on muddy terrain or falling deterioration. Changing direction quickly on muddy terrain will cause sand to slip. This can avoid being void using both hands to center your balance as you progress through the mud. Earthly terrain will become muddy when it comes into contact with timefall. Walking will cause footwear to gradually deteriorate until it is eventually damaged beyond repair. Heavier sand's load becomes the faster the rate of deterioration. Rough terrain, jumping, falling over, and sliding downhill will cause footwear to deteriorate at an even more rapid rate. Sure. What could it possibly else be? In places where the ground is both steep and uneven, the risk of tripping and falling will be increased. You'll need to either tread carefully, or use both hands to steady yourself while walking in order to avoid many accidents. I think it's also more than 45 degrees. This might be the one. I think I would just look back at it. Slopes with an incline of more than 45 degrees will be marked with a icon with the terrain scanner. Walking on this kind of terrain is far more stimulus than usual. Climbing slopes like this will drain the endurance gauge, and if it's fully depleted, you'll fall and slide down toward the bottom on the slope. Or to minimize the rate at which your endurance drops, you'll either need to climb carefully, avoid any situational movements with R3, and you'll need to use both hands to center your balance as you climb. Descending slopes like this will also present problems. The steeper the slope, the more quickly you'll be able to descend, but there is always a risk of bad fall if you are unable to maintain your balance. Depending on the surface underfoot, jumping onto a slope this steep may immediately cause you to start slipping down here, so be sure to take extra care. That sounds more like something I'd learn. But the other two sounds like something I've already gone through. Shotguns fire multiple projectiles that spread as they travel, meaning they are more effective at close proximity. Bear this in mind when you are dealing with enemies equipped with shotguns and keep your distance. Cargo in the scene. If you die while carrying a lot of cargo, some of that cargo will scuttle across the scene. You need to collect it to bring it back with you. Simply steer your soul toward it to pick it up. Cargo caught in void outs. Any cargo caught in a void out is transported to the scene. You'll have to find and collect it in order to bring it back with you. It can be picked up simply by steering your soul toward it. When a human other than Sam comes into contact with the BT, a large-scale void-out occurs. If this happens, you will need to find the blackened version of Sam that drifts around the scene. Approach it, use the triangle button to rewind time and try again for your most recent save data. To find it, and follow the golden thread or strand. Interesting. I did not know this. Patriots when the body is lost. Corpses left unincinerated can cause a lot of void outs. If this happens, you need to find a blackened Sam in the scene. Approach him and use triangle to rewind and try again from your most recent save. The blackened Sam's location is marked with a golden colored strand. Once you reload, the corpse that caused the void out will disappear and you can continue the game. When would this happen? I wonder. When the timefall won't stop. Sometimes the timefall just won't let up, and you're sitting under cover waiting for it to end. Check the weather forecast to see how long you've got to wait. Hot springs, bathing during timefall shower. You won't be able to strip off in order to enjoy the benefits of a hot spring during a timefall shower. However, you can still climb in fully clothed and experience the restorative effects. Cargo stolen by mules. If you have knocked unconscious while in a mule camp, any cargo marked with delivery will be taken from you and placed in a mule post box. Stolen cargo from mules. Sneak up on a mule to bind them with the strand. When they will drop any cargo they're carrying, allowing you to recover it. This approach does not work well with groups. If multiple mules gather, withdraw to avoid close quarter melee. Making BTs more visible. When you have BB connected, stop moving and look carefully to render BT more visible. Please note that this is not possible if BB is suffering from onotoxemia. Ba-ba. Spy requests. Requests can be made to other players for weapons or equipment to be delivered to a specific location. If another player accepts your request, delivers your supplies, they will be made available to you at the destination specified. Sure. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-da. Going through so much. Customizing structures. Structures up level 2 or above can be customized with holograms and music. To do so, select the structure menu, then customize structure. There's a lot of information that we're just learning. Either because the game never told us or we missed it. Protecting floating cargo carrier. The floating carrier is involved in a serious collision. Will automatically offload all of its cargo in order to protect against damage. Oof. Ziplines cannot be used while towing floating carriers. Ziplines cannot be used while towing floating carriers. If you want to use a zipline, you'll need to detach your floating carriers first. Chiral ammunition. Such ammunition coded in chiralium is available for use. However, this ammunition will drain your supply of chiral crystals. So be careful. Chiralium coated ammunition is just as lethal when used against humans. Use the right on to D-pad to open the equipment HUD. Use R to select, and then triangle to change ammunition types. Retrieving entrusted cargo. If cargo you've entrusted to others is returned, you'll be able to retrieve it from a share locker. Simply select withdraw cargo to take on the order again. When you see which facilities entrusted cargo has come back by selecting orders from the cup links first. No, just from the cup links. Changing your safe house room color. You can change the color of your walls in your safe house via the terminal once it has been upgraded to level 2. Oh, so that's what it means. Resting and saving BTs. You cannot rest or save your progress when in close proximity to a potential threat. Close proximity to toxic gas known as fog. Body of water. When corpses or cargo are located directly at your feet. But you can't save. Cannot rest, but you can save. That's funny. Oh, interviews. All right. Environment interviews. Locked-in syndrome. So it's been decided that Amelie will lead the expedition in terms of late talent and temperament. It was only ever going to be her or Sam Strand, but we don't know where Sam is, which made the decision easy. Besides, there's no denying she's special. Amelie was born on the beach, or rather, her physical body, her ha, that was born into the world, which, while her spiritual essence, her ka, was born on the beach. Medically speaking, they weren't sure what to call it. In the end, they settled on a diagnosis similar to what's known as locked in syndrome, a condition where the subject is mentally present but physically unable to move their body, except for their eyes sometimes. The president was able to communicate with Amelie's soul on the beach, but her body remained as it was when she was born. But after a time, thanks mainly to the president's efforts, she began to show progress. Emily's physical and spiritual selves gradually came together, and her body began to develop normally. It was right about then that they realized she was also a doom sufferer, began to uh, ascertain her incredible abilities. She can transport herself physically to her own beach. Guess it makes sense that world is more real to her than this one. She may have overcome her initial struggles, but she still spent most of her life on the other side. Over there, time stands still, which is why even now she looks like she's in her 20s. Eventually, the president came to feel that her daughter had been through enough from that point onward. All communication with Amelie would be via hologram. Even during the expedition, she wouldn't be in direct contact with most of the team. It's not a bad plan, to be fair. It'll help to keep her out of reach of terrorists for a start. Why do I feel like this is partially true, partially false? Because in essence, Amelie was created through Bridget, but it was during her time when she had her cancer. No. Designing the UCA flag. Richard and I had discussed all about the UCA flag. She wanted something that was based on the old American design. You know, the one 50 stars, 13 stripes. States and colonies, classic symbol of national pride. The president wanted people to remember that pride as we went about our rebuilding process. But I thought differently. The old American flag was redesigned 26 times. Every time a new state joined the Union, they had to add another star. It was easy to believe that a country would keep on growing forever, end up taking over the world. Well, most people believe that just that. Good old manifest destiny, the mantra used to justify countless atrocities centuries ago. You can believe I told the president. Wait, you believe I told the president we damn well better not carry on that particular legacy? Freedom, liberty, equality. Those principles should be enshrined and never denied. The stars of the UCA aren't states but individuals, each with a value, each a part of a greater whole. That's what our flag and the UCA represents. Bridget's necklace. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was nervous as hell, but underneath that was a strange kind of euphoria. Not unlike the high I felt when I first went into combat years before. A nameless grunt stumbling around, surrounded by vets who'd seen it all before. Not that stayed nameless for long. Turned out I was a born survivor. And before I knew it, I'd earned myself a reputation and an audience with the President's Bridget Strand several months after her inauguration. She looked me straight in the eye and told me from that day on I answered to her. We were going to rebuild America together, she said. It may sound daunting and intimidating, but I knew even then that wasn't her intent. She spoke like someone who'd lived a dozen lifetimes, who made the most of each and every one. After she said her piece, she smiled and uh, took a step closer. Me. She smiled and took a step closer to me. Her necklace. Took a step closer to me. Where's the two? To me? For me? Above me? Below me? Her necklace sometime impossible. No, her necklace, a simple Y-shaped thing, caught the light. For an instant, I saw her body, chest. Wait, what? No. Caught the light, and for an instant, I saw something impossible. The necklace was glowing, radiant, spreading across her body, chest to abdomen, like something was being drawn out of her. Ah, being drawn out of her heart. Yeah, that makes sense. I thought at the time, though, I couldn't tell you why. Every time I saw her with that necklace, I remember the light. It was only much later that Bridget told me about her daughter, Amelie, and how it had been a virgin birth. As Denman established in the course of his independent inquiries, the BB experiments were classified and carried out in an atmosphere of great secrecy. Deadman also asserts correctly that the BBs were recognized as both media for chiral communication as essentially human sacrifices. Bridges 1 was issued BB pods, some of which found their way into the hands of terrorists out west who adapted the technology for their own ends. This is further evidenced by the fact that the pods currently in use by the terrorists are identical to those issued to Bridges 1 members. We can only assume that they were stolen, and in any event, the true nature of BBs remained a closely guarded secret that we could not and would not disclose to anyone. This was the case from the very beginning, which is why, following the Death Stranding, government officials in the not in the know, were certainly that it was an act of terror. The actual cause, of course, was a Syrian section performed on a brain dead pregnant woman. Yeah, C section. As you'll have heard, the surgeon who performed the operation saw a BT at the time. Bridget, who had just been inaugurated as president, believed the BBs could be used to prove to everyone that BTs did indeed exist. By dragging this invisible threat into light, the people might come together again instead of continuing to drift apart. There was a terrible risk, she knew, but if America was to be whole once more, BTs couldn't remain hidden. If only we knew what would happen when revealed them to the world. If only we knew what would happen when revealed them to the world. Why is Deadman's sentences so bad, especially in the end game? Well, there's a lot of writing at the end game that's like off. Weird. I'm sorry, this is taking a lot out of me. Can we pick it up a little later? Confession number two. Sorry, about before. I just needed a break. I'm ready to continue if you like. The BB experience continued after the stranding, even though the official line was that they'd been shut down. That's how we came to realize that BBs weren't just a means to with which we could see BTs. They had the power to connect us to the other side. Power like that could help us make America whole again. Surely that was our thinking at the time, anyway. Not all BBs were created equal, though. One in particular had potential that was off the charts. Yeah, you know which one we're talking about. It was chosen to serve as the first sacrifice, but I didn't have the stomach to see it through. I couldn't do it. Not to his kid. Couldn't forsake that personal connection to save the world, I guess. So I tried to arrange a rescue. I betrayed my president, betrayed my country, and because of me, both Cliff and his BB ended up dead. It must have weighed on Bridget, too. How could it not? Why else would she have taken in the little BB who died and came back to life as her own son? Another lie to comfort and console us. But there's no pretending it didn't happen. Not after Sam told me about the flashbacks he experienced when he hooked up to his own BB. Not after I realized Cliff had returned. Realized he wasn't looking for a bridge baby, but his baby, his own flesh and blood. And now you know why I've devoted my life to the UCA. It's the only way I can begin to atone for after what I've done, or atone for what I've done. All right, dead man, what you got for me? What became of dead man? I'm not concerned to anyone or anything, not to my mother or the other side, nothing. All that stuff about how I was created from proponents, right, pluriponents, pluripotents, stem cells, that's just a cover story. I actually started life in a womb, albeit in an artificial one. A human egg fertilized with a human sperm. So far, so natural. But after that technology took over, any organs that were absent or lacking, I got from someone else. I'd often wondered when I was technically born. After all, the moment of fertilization, the moment I was taken from the incubator, like the moment I was fertile, moment of fertilization, the moment I was taken from the incubator. Either way, there was nothing ordinary about it. I came into the world disconnected. No wonder I didn't have a beach to call my own. Could you blame me for developing an obsession? After all, without a beach, death really is the end. Game over. Adios. Or so I thought. I'd recently discovered that I was mistaken about all of that. Thanks to Lou, I finally got to visit the beach. I may not have my own, but it seems that they're not close to me after all. As long as I'm connected to someone. The beach is no more than a space between life and death. Laughing one doesn't mean you're not alive. I mean, I'm definitely alive. If anything, not having your own just means that you've already connected to everyone in this world. It's quite the epiphany, and certainly it puts a great many worries of mine in perspective. What you got about America? Discovering America. Tell me, how much do you know about America? Not much is my guess. After all, it was already a wreck by the time either of us was born. Still, given that the whole purpose of Bridges is its reconstruction, I thought it'd be a good idea to learn a bit more about what we're trying to put back together. I imagine that you're aware of the fact that America was founded by European settlers. But do you know the name of the very first one? The man who discovered this place? Very good. Columbus is right. But let's not give the man too much credit. He apparently went to his grave thinking that America was some uncharted Asian island. It took another European explorer, Amerigo Vespucci, to realize that America was actually a whole new continent completely unrelated to Asia. That's why it was named after him, you see. Having said that, there are those who question whether Vespucci discovered such an honor, deserves such an honor. There's a distinct lack of evidence that several of his alleged voyages to the New World even happened. Some think he lied in order to ensure the new continent would be named after him, after him, be named after him, and not Columbus. It was a hot topic of scholarly debate for centuries. Can you believe that? If you ask me, though, it really doesn't matter. Neither of them discovered America anyway. No one did. It was here all along, and already home to a great many people. The notion of that a European discovered this place, or anywhere else for that matter, is the biggest lie of all, don't you think? Sure thing, buddy.